My advice is you got to get involved and get out of your comfort level and talk to people. We live in one of the best places in the world. Where do we all fall in this into the island, right? What's our role in the collective, right? And I think those are things that I would suggest that people do. And then, question yourself. I think in politics, and I'll tell you, I think for me, right, when I set out on a course or when I think about approaching a project or a challenge, you have to be flexible sometimes. You have to challenge your assumptions. Sometimes what you think upon learning more things is a little different, and you have to be able to adjust your strategy.
If I ever tried.
In politics, and then I guess in life, there's just always a lot of peaks and valleys. But in politics in particular, sometimes people's motives and purposes that are opposite than yours, can result in a whole bunch of craziness, to be honest with you. But for me, when I think about hardships or I think about challenges and, do I have the energy to try and move past them, I always think that I have that strength. And really, I would say the foundational piece of my strength comes from losing my dad when I was 20. I mean, we're a very small family, and my dad died rather suddenly in a car accident. And so I had to become the man of the house. I mean, I had to shoulder the burden of burying my dad. My mom's a real strong person, but she was so broken up about it. She had to be sedated, actually. That was the worst time in my life. And anytime that I see a challenge or I have, maybe even a mound of challenges in front of my way, I always think if I could handle that, that's a real challenge. Then I can handle everything. This is the most challenging time for us right now in our community. There's a war against trans people. There are fears that have been unleashed that are meant to identify us as targets. We're supposed to look for unifying things, not to attack people and unify in that attack, right? This is a very dangerous time. But when we continue to speak out and when we work together and we confront that, that's how we're able to move on. We can get through this.